Hi, I'm Katie Ziskind. I'm the owner of Wisdom Within Counseling and Coaching. You can learn more about working with me at wisdomwithinct.com. That's wisdomwithinct.com. I specialize in helping distant, frustrated couples connect emotionally and sexually. So if you're stuck walking on eggshells at home, if you have high conflict fights where there's anger, yelling, and the silent treatment, I would love to help you build more calm, loving communication. As well, if you're feeling sexually frustrated, sexually stuck in an avoidance cycle, you're in a sexless marriage, the physical intimacy is gone, I help you rebuild erotic desire, passion, playfulness, and have fun exploring each other physically again. In this video, we are talking about the emotional intimacy side of sexual connection. So when we look at building sexual satisfaction and sexual pleasure, we need core elements emotionally before we can feel safe opening up. So a lot of times when I work with couples, there's been trauma. You grew up, you had a parent who was an alcoholic, you had a parent who was a gambling addict, you had a parent who was a drug addict, you had a parent that prioritized work and was a workaholic over you. Your parent never showed up at your soccer games or football games. Your parent focused their whole life on work. Or you also had a parent that was, abusive physically. Though your parent may have said, "Oh, I'm just punishing you because I love you," or "I'm punishing you because this is what the church is telling me to do," or "because all my friends who are parents hit their kids." You experienced physical abuse, being hit, spanked, slapped, kicked, whipped. All of these things are forms of physical trauma and physical abuse. And so your parents and caregivers may have also been verbally abusive, yelling, belittling you, guilt tripping you, chronic lying, being emotionally neglectful are all forms of trauma in childhood. So you may have experienced a feeling of helplessness, of the fight, flight, freeze, survival response growing up in childhood. You may have had a parent who was emotionally neglectful, physically abusive, psychologically abusive, and as a result, you felt ignored, you felt inferior, you felt inadequate, you felt rejected, criticized, hurt. And all of these feelings play a role in your current marital conflicts. So when your partner says something, they may intentionally or unintentionally re-trigger these feelings that you felt in childhood of feeling ignored, less than, unimportant, insignificant, neglected, abandoned, rejected, hurt, betrayed. And so that's when we start to see high conflict fights escalate. A high conflict fight escalates because the nervous system goes into fight, flight, freeze, these survival mechanisms, when the fears of abandonment get triggered all over again. And so right now in your marriage, you may be walking on eggshells, you might be stuck not being sure how to break the cycle of conflict. It seems like everything you say makes your partner more angry and more distant. They're snappy, they're sassy, they roll away from you in bed when you try to touch them. Your partner is very different. They're on another planet than you are, and you want more than anything to connect with them. So I teach you how to help each other feel valued, important, special, significant, understood, comforted, and reassured through the process of couples counseling. And I offer weekly sessions as well as 3-day private couples therapy retreats. So we work over a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday together. It's like a mini vacation, either virtually or in person. And you get to learn skills in an intensive format to build emotional intimacy, to build a secure bond, to connect on an emotional level, and develop what I call emotional vulnerability skills. So when we grow up in an environment of childhood trauma, where we experience emotional neglect, physical abuse, and feel ignored, shamed, ridden with guilt, inferior, unimportant, ignored, we grow up with negative forms of self-esteem. We grew up not having a voice. We don't learn that it's safe to express emotions. And emotional expression is a precursor for expressing your sexuality and expressing your sexual desire. So we need to create a secure emotional foundation first in order to help you both build sexual desire and improve the sexual intimacy element of your marriage. So when we look at emotional vulnerability, this means knowing what you feel, sharing what you feel with your partner in a calm, regulated, and gentle manner. So you're not yelling, you're not raising your voice, you're not tense, you're not waving your hands in the air. You are calm, you're intuitive, you are coming from a place of grounded energy and inner wisdom as you share your feeling. And you are also connecting to what your partner has to feel or is feeling and being receptive to them. So being accessible emotionally means being open. Being responsive emotionally means being in tune with what you feel and what your partner is feeling. And when your partner shares, hey, I felt hurt, I felt sad, I'm afraid of abandonment, it means the whole world has to stop. Whatever you're doing, we have to pause that. Nothing is more important than what your partner is expressing to you. And I show you how to do that. I give you tools and techniques for that. It's really important. A lot of us don't know how to be vulnerable emotionally because of childhood trauma. We weren't safe. It wasn't safe to do that growing up. So now you can express to your partner, hey, I really want to work on our partnership. Or, hey, I'm really needing reassurance. I need to know that I matter to you. Or when I was a kid, I was hit, I was spanked, I was whipped if I did one small mistake. So now I'm so afraid to mess up. I'm so afraid to love you in the wrong way. And that's why I'm so hard on myself. And I really need to know that you can be patient with me if I mess up and I'm not perfect and I don't get it right. And I really need to be reminded that I'm good enough. And I really need that verbal affirmation from you. Hey, I really need to know that if I come over to you for a hug or I wrap my arms around you while you're washing dishes, that you won't pull away from my touch, that you'll want my embrace, that I matter to you, that when I reach out, that's me being brave and wanting comfort. And I need to know that you want that comfort and to build that partnership too. Saying things like this is emotional vulnerability. It builds a secure couple bubble. It helps you and your partner develop a strong, secure foundation of emotional intimacy, which then is a foundational piece of a secure sexual bond. When we look at exploring sexuality, we're looking at expressing a vulnerable side of ourselves too. We're saying, hey, I'm really into this thing. That's vulnerable. Hey, this thing really sexually arouses me. That's vulnerable. It's vulnerable to say, hey, I really want your body. I really find you hot and attractive and sexy. It's vulnerable to be naked together. So in order to have that sexual, physical element and build erotic desire, we need to be able to connect to ourselves and to our partners emotionally. We need to build desire from a place of emotional security. So if you're needing help breaking the cycle of frustrating fights and sharing deeper emotions like fears of abandonment or fears of not getting it right, or that you feel hopeless and helpless, and I would love to help you do so and build a secure marriage. As well, if you're needing help in terms of physical intimacy, building erotic desire, bringing back the spice and the passion, I love helping couples have a safe space to gain sex-positive education, have a safe place to talk about sex, to get comfortable talking about sexual desires, expectations, needs, fantasies, and explore this sexual world that you may not have a safe place to do anywhere else in life. So if you're looking to get started rebuilding your marriage, building a secure emotional bond, and improving sexual passion and intimacy, you can book your free phone consultation to work with me either weekly or take part in a private 3-day couples therapy retreat and marriage boot camp. Go to wisdomwithinct.com. That's wisdomwithinct.com. I would love to help you build a strong, healthy, and meaningful emotional and sexual bond in your marriage. I'm Katie Ziskind. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. I'm a Gottman Level 2 marriage therapist. I'm a certified sex therapy informed professional. I'm an emotionally focused therapist, and I love helping couples build emotional connection and sexual desire. That's wisdomwithinct.com.